Thank you everyone for coming. We are Rocky Mountain Constructors. This is our presentation on the Lake Highland Preparatory Center for Innovation and Academics. My name is Emilio Montano. I'm the VP of Pre-Construction for Rocky Mountain Constructors, and I will be your lead estimator on this project.
My name is Joel Ibarra, and I'm the project manager.
My name is Aiden Flint, and I'm the superintendent.
My name is Christopher Hollowell. I'm the safety manager, and we're excited to be your project team for the Lake Highland Preparatory School.
Our team has worked in various school projects, including the Marcus Hall, Spirit Terra, and the Applied Research Center. These projects include similar square footage and exterior build-out. Given our experience, we are confident that our team could execute your project in an efficient manner.
All right, so for the Lake Highland Preparatory School Center for Innovation and Academics, it is a 4-story, roughly 71,000 square foot building, as you all may know. There's different learning spaces incorporated into that building, as well as a lot of indoor and outdoor socialization areas for people to work on collaboration with each other. This project is located in the Lake Highland District of Orlando. If you turn your attention to the right here, ooh. Okay, seriously.
So we broke your project into 6 phases. Phase 1 consists of our site preparation. Phase 2 consists of our superstructure scope. Phase 3 is our interior build-out and our MEPF systems. Phase 4 is site improvements. Phase 5 is our abatement and structure demo practices. Phase 6 is our site expansion.
We're going to begin phase 1 by mobilizing our project and job site trailers. March 18th, we're going to do our surveying site, excavation, site preparation for the building build-out.
Proper surveying is of essence to this project to meet proper grade. Along with this scope, we have dirt coming in and out of the site. So we have controls in place such as street sweepers on site to monitor and maintain the roadways that they are using. We also have, go for it.
So safety will be a big concern for us as we start this project. Excavation, as we're doing the footings, we'll make sure we have proper boundaries set up so nobody falls into any openings. The site as a whole will be protected by job site fencing, as well as flaggers at the main entrance. It's the only entrance to site. That way we make sure nobody gets on the site that is not supposed to be there, including the children. Throughout the entirety of the project, we will make sure that during high traffic times for school at pickup and drop off from 6:45 to 8:15 in the morning and 2:45 to 4:15 in the evenings, there will be no deliveries. We'll minimize traffic on and off the job site.
All right, and then with this phase of work comes a decent chunk of change. We're expecting to bill about $1.7 million for the mobilization, building pad preparation, and all site prep that is going to need to go into this phase.
In progress of phase 1, we're going to begin phase 2, which is our superstructure. Our crane mobilization is going to be on site September 19th. We're going to do our foundations, stair cores, structure of erection of the steel, and our exterior skin.
There will be controls during this phase as well. Myself, along with my quality control manager, will be testing and inspecting quality workmanship of our trade partners and ourselves.
As the building is going up and we have a crane operating on site, it's a tight site that's only going to get tighter. We're going to utilize proper crane operation and picks, make sure that we are maintaining a safe operational environment for everybody around.
All right, and then with the skeleton of your building, of course, comes another decent dollar sign. It's going to be about $11.4 million expected to be built during this phase. That goes into, structural steel, masonry, everything that basically ties into keeping this building up.
In progress of phase 2, we're going to begin phase 3, which is our interior build-out and our MEPF. We're going to begin on the first floor level, where we will work our way up on MEPF. After MEPF reaches second floor level, interior build-out, including interior finishes, will continue until the 4th floor level.
During this phase, dust control and particle control is of essence. Along with that, for our finished work, we'd like to maintain the humidity and control the temperature within the building.
Throughout phase 2 and 3 is when we expect to have the highest number of our workforce on the site, upwards of 120 people at one time as we're doing all of our scopes. Throughout this time, it's going to be of utmost importance that we continue to follow our safety and emergency guidelines that are set out during the training and site orientation to ensure that nobody from off-site gets on-site and everybody that is on-site is safe at all times.
All right, and then with this pretty building and all of its luxurious finishes, we're expecting to bill about $9.8 million for this phase of work. That's including the interior build-out and MEPF systems, all those big air handler units, and chillers get put into place without any issues.
In progress of phase 3 of our interior finishes, we're going to start our site improvements, which include our horoscope and our landscaping, and finish out with closeout, including our punch list and our substantial completion, which is on January 17th of 25.
During this phase, we heavily rely on our pre-qualification processes for our trade partners that can ensure quality work.
During this phase, we really like to try to connect with the community more, have an open job site that we can schedule tours to not show only you as the owners, but also the community, what kind of impact this project can do, but we want to do so in a safe manner by educating and informing the school and the community about what we have to offer and what we're building for them.
All right, so I apologize. This is where those nice finishes come into place in terms of price. We're expecting about $3.8 million to be billed during this phase.
Closing out phase 4 of the Center of Innovation and Academics new build, we're going to begin our phase 5 30 days after the certificate of occupancy. We're going to do our 2 buildings, demo one of those first from second floor level to the foundation and move on to the next building and repeat that process.
Proper abatement calls for safe and efficient demolition of those existing buildings. Along with safety, we can also have quality controls in place to ensure that our new build is safe.
When it comes to abatement and demolition, there's a lot of risks involved. So we're going to go ahead and have a Florida licensed and insured contractor that can come out here, do all the work that's necessary, as well as having a safe and secure job site when it comes to the demolition, making sure we're not getting too close to the work being done.
All right, and then with demolition and abatement, in terms of billing, this goes into shoring, protection of work in place, protection of the public. Obviously, it's going to run about $700,000 for this phase of work.
After completing demolition for both buildings, we're going to move on to phase 6, which includes site expansion. We're going to begin with our utility lines, hardscape, landscaping, and finish off with the site parking expansion.
Through this phase and through closeout, we would like to maintain contact points to myself and our project manager here, Joel, if anything ever arises.
While us at Rocky Mountain Constructors want to have a safe job site, we also understand that the construction as a whole can become a vulnerability to the school and the community. It is of our commitment to make sure we're working directly with the school and the community, not to become a safety and security vulnerability.
This phase is going to run about $1.6 million for the expansion.
Our milestones for the first new build is our mobilization. The most important is it starts April 18th. Our substantial completion for that is this, January 17th of 25. And final completion for that building is January 31st of 25, and where we could begin our demo and expansion, and that's going to be completed on September 12th of 25. Our total project duration for both the new build and the demo is 617 days.
And our final estimate for your guys' project is going to be $31,298,662, or roughly $439 per square foot. Do we have any questions?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the great information, the consideration that you've put into our facility. Certainly the entire district and school is excited about it. Schedule, obviously, getting that academic school year started off is paramount. I noticed that you have a May 1st date for permitting. If you were to experience a delay in that, anticipating upwards of 4 weeks, do you think that you can still commit to your scheduled completion date, and can you do it for your same cost?
We could definitely aim towards moving any subsequent activities to ensure that our schedule is on time, especially looking at the critical activities and making sure that those are still being taken care of after that permitting is received. Unfortunately, with how long that permitting will take, we could definitely sit down with our subcontractors and see what we could do moving forward if that were the case.
Going on schedule as well, we noticed that your substantial completion is in January of 25. Are there any avenues to get the buildings turned over for that 2024 school year that starts in late August?
Do you mind just repeating your question one more time for me? Apologies.
No worries. So your substantial completion on the building is shown as January of 25. The academic school year of 24-25 starts in August. Is there any opportunity within the schedule to go accelerate that so that they can have a full school year?
Yeah. Apologies for that mistake. Yes, our substantial completion should be on the 25th of January, but after the 30-day lag between the certificate of occupation and our demo phase, we could definitely again talk to our subcontractors to see if that's something they could possibly work towards.
Thank you.
You never really mentioned anything about long lead items in your proposal, so what is your plan? Are you confident that you'll be able to procure all the mechanical, electrical equipment on time?
Yeah. We have a strong approach to our pre-construction stage where we will begin our procurement stage for that right after our notice of award. We will connect with our trade partners and get those submittals from them and review those submittals ourselves and get those to the architects and engineers as soon as we can. That way we are on top of getting those equipments on site before they are due to be installed.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding your estimating plan. Did I hear you say that you're the vice president of pre-construction?
I am.
And you're going to do the estimate yourself? Did I hear that?
Yes, you've heard that correct.
Okay. And you feel that you'll have the time available to perform this estimate yourself, not hand it off to someone on your team?
Absolutely. I mean, making good relations with the Lake Highland Preparatory School and the Lake Highland District of Orlando is of utmost importance to us at Rocky Mountain Contractors. And I mean, your building is just so intriguing. We figure we have to give it a shot.
Thank you.
For the demo of the two Johnson and Hale Hall buildings, can you elaborate a little bit on your abatement plan and any concerns with asbestos and exposure to the schools?
Yes, ma'am. So with the licensed contractor coming in, we'll have containment areas for all the material that's coming out. We're going to try to pull them out in as big of pieces as possible to prevent contamination in any area. We use air scrubbers to help maintain the air quality in the area. We'll take before readings so we can know the current air quality in the building as well as the air quality around the building. If there's any readings that become abnormal, high, any concerns or anything like that, then we'll shut down the work, fix the issue that has arisen, and then continue work once it's safe to do so. We'll follow all guidelines, double bag and label all materials that we pull out, Any waste that's generated will be handled properly, following all federal, local, and state laws.
I have a question about your staffing chart. It is showing an owner's representative under RMC. Is that not going to be a conflict of interest with the owner?
Ideally, that should have been one of our internal project representatives working directly with the owner's team to kind of fast track some processes in pre-construction and procurement, as well as any sort of contract dealings. That shouldn't have been labeled owner representative, so that is a issue on our end, but we can get that relabeled to you and sent out. But that should just be for fast tracking a lot of those processes that can take a while.
Thank you.
A quick question on self-perform. So in the response, you all plan to surpass the 5% minimum, but can you elaborate on what scopes you plan to self-perform?
Correct. So we plan to self-perform all foundations, slab on grade as well. With our past experience in concrete, we believe that it'll add quality to the project higher than other trade partners that we work with.
So you mentioned using trustworthy subcontractors in your RFP and addressing labor shortages. What does a trustworthy subcontractor look like to RMC, and how do we know that they're trustworthy?
So we go through thorough pre-qualification processes, and we have great relations with all of our trade partners. We have experienced thick and thin through our trade partners and have learned throughout our various projects in relation to this how to mitigate those problems and who's the best for this project.
Have you started talking to any concrete suppliers as far as, there's a lot of concrete getting placed in Central Florida right now. Any concerns or issues with supplies of fly ash, the amount of trucks that they're able to put on the road? You talking multiple batch plants, or kind of what's your plan to address some of those issues we've got going on in the region?
We have several routes and several locations that we were looking at. We understand that there can be problems nowadays with lead items and whatnot, and getting qualifications for our concrete. But we did account for that.
In addition to supply chain issues, obviously another industry challenge right now has been cost escalation and holding pricing. How have you considered escalation in your estimate? How can you assure that that won't be a risk that would be an owner concern? And what conversations have you had with any of your key trade partners related to cost escalation?
So we have accounted for cost escalation in basically every scope of work on this project. We have a pretty thorough estimating department that back checks the quantities given by our trade partners and the quantities that we get from those people in the offices themselves. In terms of cost escalation, we take those quantities and we use that estimating team to determine escalation values to compare them to our trade partners, and we take an average of the two. So all of the work on our job site should have the cost escalation applied to it already. That includes supply chain issues due to COVID-19 or random things like a ship getting stuck in a canal. Stuff like that is confirmed in our bid and should no longer be a risk for this project.
And I don't necessarily recall seeing that itemized or listed individually, the escalation that you have built in. If we get favorable winds and we see the market turn in a positive direction, is there some cost savings that we could realize for that escalation that wasn't incurred?
In terms of that cost saving for escalation, that price goes into sort of a contingency for us if that material does happen to get delayed. If there's any changes in design, we are more than willing to sit down with you guys and renegotiate a different contract, but that's something we can speak about down the line.
This one's for Chris. Can you elaborate on your home before the street lights come on policy in your safety plan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as we all know, growing up, your parents were just letting you go run off and do your thing, enjoy your time with your friends outside. But it was always that you had to be home before the street lights come on. So that way they knew that you were home safe and sound, doing the right thing. So the policy is really just saying that we're giving our trade partners and everybody that's on site the ability to make the right choices, and really trusting that they are going to make the right choices, giving them the power to do so. And then if they don't do so, I mean, mom will be sad and dad will be upset. And like I said, mom might not ever hold your hand again. And I don't like to upset my mom, and I know a lot of other people don't like to do that either.
Question on your crane selection. It looked like in your site you guys selected to use a crawler crane, but I didn't necessarily see a crane path around the building. Are you guys intending on moving the crawler crane, or is it just kind of be stagnant? What is the crane plan?
Our goal right now is to, it was hard to depict on that site utilization plan. Those things can get kind of crammed. But our goal is to leave out that lower grade finished slab at the bottom of the breezeway stairs and have the crawler crane sit there while the erection of steel and glazing units and the heavier item is going up. Ideally, keeping that crane from moving at all is a way to mitigate risk. We plan on having a boom or a jib attached to that crane so that it can reach every portion of the building without having to really move anywhere.
Are there any opportunities that through this construction process you're able to offer kind of an enhanced learning opportunity for any of our K through 12 students?
Yes, ma'am. So as I was talking about earlier, we do enjoy reaching out and working with the community, and especially the schools. In past projects, we've had success with bringing in teachers and students upon scheduled tours of the site that are very structure-based. We can take what they're learning in class, work with the teachers, and show them what we have going on site.
Has RMC been able to identify any value engineering opportunities that could be a cost savings to us?
In terms of value engineering ideas, we've considered a couple of options, those regarding some of those high-end finishes on the different floors in terms of the immensely complex baffling that goes, I believe, in the northeastern side of the first floor of the building. Changing that to a simpler design and maybe a little less fine finish would save a decent amount of money. Things like that, changing some of this finishing work. We know your building should look pretty, and it does already, but we could still make that design really nice with maybe something that can save you some cost.
So as it pertains to materials and really even cash flow from the owner's perspective, are you planning on having off-site storage for these so-called hard-to-get or long lead time items? And if you are we going to be billed for those once they're installed, or are you expecting to bill for that stored material?
The plan right now is RMC has an off-site storage yard. We do not plan on billing you guys for the storage because we want to build a relationship with the Lake Highland Preparatory School District and anyone that works on this project. We don't deem it necessary to charge for that laydown area, but as soon as they're installed, yes, the billing will be coming through.
All right, well, I think that concludes the presentation. I really appreciate the presentation today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.